These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Walking Stick via Guru Frank 26, Walking Stick's friend that owns the two banks in Baghdad. They came to the United States of America because the CBI talked to him. Would you like to have satellite banks with us? You've got this state, name withheld for privacy. Go and do what you've got to do. They came here to finalize the updating of the software in the private banks. In my opinion, it will be functional in the next 2 weeks. This is part of the monetary reform phase. A lot of paperwork acceptance by the banks to accept MasterCard, Visa cards inside of these private banks. Some of these satellite banks have already done the downloading. It's not for you, it's for the Iraqi citizens that live wherever these banks are. When his friend returns to Iraq, he'll have to meet with the CBI to report them what he did with the uploading of the software in the satellite banks that he represents wherever in the United States. And it said, in my opinion, the next meeting will be for the discussion for the new small category notes that are about to be distributed. Wouldn't it be fantastic if at this meeting or before Walking Stick's friend was shown the currency sheet? That would be great. Pimpy says there seems to be some interesting movements happening that line up for a positive RI and RV. Now, I don't go out and pump hopium up people's butts. I just don't. I keep grounded, but what I was pointing out is it definitely looks like the chances of an RV or an RI have increased once Iraq is removed from Chapter 7. If you look at some of the news articles that are coming out recently, you can see what looks like they're preparing themselves for a rate increase. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but it definitely looks like they're heading in that direction. Again, don't run and sell your house. Don't sell your kids. Don't sell your mother. Calm down. We've been led down this road many times. It has been led to a dead end, but there's definitely been a lot of good news, that's for sure. Frank 26 with the Iraq Boots on the Ground TV update from Firefly. The news is saying Iraq reserves are now over $64 billion. They're saying to us they're awaiting a major decision by the United States of America, which will have a significant financial increase for Iraq when this decision is made. They're talking about Iraq's hard cash reserves in Washington, D.C. Frank said that's just $64 billion from the USA. That's not their gold. That's not their other precious metals. That's not their bonds. That's not any of their other assets. It's way past that. Mark Z via PDK says, I believe they're setting us up for the perfect storm comes together with economic indicators. Whales arriving via private jets tell me we are very close and on the verge of it. For those that paid attention to Kuwait, those that paid attention in China when they did their last revaluation, Iraq article headline, quote, the central bank announces a preparation of the study of the currency structure project and warns about changing the exchange rate. So here we are in Iraq. In mid-December, they're warning against changing the rate, yet they're throwing out to wait for another year or so. Maybe 22 or 2023, but don't panic, guys. In Kuwait, on the morning they revalued, they ran a similar article on how they simply were not prepared. In China, they did their last major revaluation in the 90s. They came out with huge articles for 3 days saying they were not going to revalue their currency, and then they did it. To me, that Iraq article is a classic misdirection coming from the central bank. They've been very busy educating the Iraqi people on the lower denominations and rate changes, and now they come out with an international story like this. I think this is a fantastic piece for us to see. We expected to see this news as soon as it was ready to rip, in my opinion. They are setting up this week to have the event that we have been waiting for, and I'm pretty excited right now. Holly is saying, I'm hearing we're in a window for this week. However, I don't want people to get so disappointed if it does not happen. With that being said, yes, the news is great and positive, but remember it could be delayed for reasons we are not privy to. I'm saying it will, but I'm not saying it will, but have realistic expectations that it could be now or by the end of the month or into January. We're in a sweet spot we have never been in for this to go. For all I hear, it's happening, but again, I caution you to be prepared if it doesn't stay positive. All right, and Pimpy says, I don't think there's going to be an RI or RV called by this weekend. I know you guys are being told that. I could be wrong. We'll see, but if that's the case, we know that the United Nations has to go ahead and fully pull Iraq out of Chapter 7. They could do it all at one time. That's always possible. There's no indication that the rate is going to change by this weekend. There's no evidence or proof out there. Having said that, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen by this weekend. But it obviously does look like they're attempting to do something very shortly with the Iraqi dinar. Frank 26 article, quote, the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq meets the UAE Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, Commissioner General of Expo 2020, unquote. These CBI satellite banks are all over the world.